A group of Torres Strait Islanders is fighting to have a landmark human rights complaint upheld by the United Nations after an attempt by the Australian government to have the case dismissed. Reporter Marion Farr joins us from Cairns. Hi, Marion. So what are the Torres Strait Islanders' concerns?
Well, this group is accusing the Australian government of violating their rights to culture and life by failing to take enough action on climate change. So this group of traditional owners live in some of the most remote islands in Australia, way up north in the Torres Strait, where they say sea level rise is having a devastating impact on their culture and their way of life. So, for example, in 2016, massive tides came onto the islands and destroyed sacred burial sites and actually washed away ancestral remains. Now, one of the claimants is Yese Moresby. He's particularly passionate about this issue. We spoke to him earlier and this is what he had to say.
The fear where we are talking back on Masig and throughout the Torres Strait is to leave. We don't want to leave. That's our home. Our home is our library. That's our maternity. That's our library. That's our school. We learn life. We farewell our loved ones on our islands.
Marion, what's the Australian government said in response to this claim?
Well, it's understood the Australian government is attempting to have this case dismissed, and it's saying it can't be held individually responsible for climate change because it's a global issue. It's also saying that the complaint is based on future human rights violations, not ones that are happening now. Well, that's being disputed, but the Australian government, in its official response to the ABC, says it's engaging in good faith with the United Nations.
And what's happening now on this, Marion?
Well, the Torres Strait Islanders have this week made their final submissions to the United Nations, and now it's really up to the Human Rights Committee to go over the evidence and come to a conclusion. But one of the things that's really interesting about this case is that it has the potential to set a global precedent. So this is the first human rights complaint that links climate change with the issue of culture. And that's really one of the things that's motivating this group of Torres Strait Islanders. They want to pave the way for other communities that are affected by climate change to also be able to take action.
Thanks, Marion.